Prime Minister, thank you so much for joining us on our first Sunday agenda of the year.
Good morning and welcome back to Canberra.
Well, in 2022, concerning the stage 3 tax cuts after the election, you said, "My word is my bond." I've always been a man of my word, and I believe that when you go to an election, you make commitments, you should stick to them. Before the election, you were asked by a Sky journalist, quote, "Stage 3 is absolutely locked in." You said, quote, "Yes." Journalists asked, "There are no circumstances under which you would seek to roll back stage 3. You said no. Then you told Sky again, Kieran Gilbert, "We've outlined very clearly what our plans are. People are entitled to have that certainty of the tax cuts that have been legislated." Were you elected on a lie?
Sky News since then has reported every day for the last year about cost of living pressures. And what we know is that they are most acutely felt by those on low and middle income earners. Now, over the last period since we were elected, we've had a range of measures. The Energy Price Relief Plan, the cheaper medicines policy, cheaper childcare, fee-free TAFE, a range of measures, a lot of which, including the increase in welfare payments, have assisted low-income earners. This package is aimed fairly and squarely at middle Australia. And when economic circumstances change, it would be irresponsible to not change economic policy. We've been upfront about that. I have said this is a change of our position, but it's a change of our position not driven by politics. It's driven by looking after people.
Are you embarrassed, though, that you've had to do this, that you've gone out so publicly, so unequivocally? You've said, "My word is my bond," and now you have to say, "Oh, sorry, I didn't really mean that."
This is about putting people before politics, and we've made the right decision for the right reasons.
Do you feel you need to apologise, though, for this broken promise?
We've made the right decision for the right reasons. And
so you won't be apologising?
Average income earners will receive double the tax cut which they did before. And what I've done is listen to people. I've listened to people. I've listened to programs such as yours for the last year. I've looked at newspapers and seen comments people have made, but I've talked with people directly. As you know, Andrew, I don't just speak in controlled environments. I get out there and talk with people on the ground, in the supermarkets, across our shopping centres, in our main streets of our cities and our regional towns and our communities. And what I've heard is that low and middle income earners have under financial pressure. We know that that is the case. And in 2022, during the election campaign, I don't think that you were saying, perhaps you were, that there were going to be a dozen interest rate increases, that inflation would continue, that the aftermath of the global pandemic would be so long in terms of its tail, and we know that COVID's still having an impact. We know that the supply chain issues, including from the shutdown of migration, meant that there were labour market shortages which fed into prices as well. We know the ongoing Russian invasion of Ukraine fed into prices as well. So we had to take advice.
Okay, but do you regret being so unequivocal?
We had to take advice on the way in which we could provide income support, provide a difference for people who are under pressure, whilst continuing to tackle inflation. That's what we have done. We've been upfront about it. We actually published, it's very unusual, as you know, Andrew, to publish an 8-page document and then a range of tables from Treasury. We've done that so that there is a full and complete understanding of that.
And those tables tell you this, that this is the end result, a lobster. That's basically what you get, even less, $16.40 for those low to middle income earners per week. Is that lobster enough in the supermarket to allow people to forgive you for breaking an election promise? Is that lobster enough for people, for you to win the next election when you're taking $4,500 a year off people who were expecting $9,000, who voted for you?
I'll tell you what, Andrew, the fact is that politicians and perhaps yourself are not going to get as much as you were going to get. But I tell you what, for average income earners out there on $73,000 a year, they're going to get double the tax cut.
They're going to get $20. They're going to get $16 a week.
For families,
$32.
For families who are going to get, Andrew, people are doing it tough. This is aimed fairly and squarely at middle Australia, so that for the average family earns $130,000 instead of getting just $1,000, they'll be getting $2,600. That makes a substantial difference to them. This adds to the other measures we are doing, but it is targeted squarely at middle income Australians. And also, Andrew, the Treasury analysis shows that this will be good for the economy because it will address labour supply issues. So we have found a way to provide increased support without putting pressure on inflation.